Have you ever just looked up at the night sky and thought, is anybody out there? And if they are, and they're, way more advanced than us, why don't they just pop down and help fix things? It's a huge question. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive right into that, using a really cool story about a 10-year-old kid named Peter and his encounter with Ami, a visitor from the stars. So let's get right to it. This is the question, right? It's at the heart of pretty much every alien story we've ever told. If there are beings out there with the power to end wars, cure diseases, solve all our biggest problems, their silence can feel, kind of cruel. But what if it isn't about not caring? What if their hands are tied by a universal law that's bigger than any of us? All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with a pretty dramatic scene happening high above Earth. Then, we'll get into the actual rules these advanced beings have to follow. After that, we'll talk about the huge danger of being mistaken for a god, which leads us to the big ideas, the universe's principle of freedom, and this concept of harvesting what you sow. Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine you're inside a spaceship with our 10-year-old hero Peter and this little white-haired alien kid named Ami. They were just spotted over Tokyo, and now they're just hanging there, silent in the night sky, their ship all lit up with these incredible colors. And way down below them, on some dark, lonely road, a car screeches to a halt. A young couple jumps out, and they're just staring up, completely mesmerized by this impossible thing in the sky. And what happens next is what kicks off this whole incredible lesson. For Peter, and for us too. So the couple's reaction, it's not just shock. It's not even simple curiosity. They are totally, completely overcome. They gesture, they shout, and then they literally fall to their knees in the middle of the road and start praying. To them, the beings in that ship, they're not just visitors, they're gods. Now Peter, being a good kid, sees how desperate they are. He begs Ami, come on, talk to them, do something. But Ami, he can't. He refuses, and it's not because he doesn't want to, it's because he's not allowed. There's a cosmic law in the way, and it's one he absolutely cannot break. Ami explains this thing called the aid plan. Now, you can basically think of it as the universe's prime directive. It's a super strict set of rules that says advanced civilizations cannot interfere with developing worlds. Why? To protect their freedom, to make sure they get to evolve naturally on their own. So this is the really key thing to get. It's not about being cold or uncaring. It's actually a deeply ethical system. First, you just have to obey the law, period. But it's also about respecting free will, not taking advantage of what people don't know. Stepping in could just cause total chaos, right? And ultimately, it means that every world, even one with terrible problems, has to find its own way forward. And this leads us to the number one problem Ami has with that couple on the road below. It's their worship. This isn't just some little misunderstanding. It's a really, really big deal. In fact, it's dangerous. Ami lays it out for Peter. He says, look, their belief that I'm a god, that's just a lie. It's not true. And for him to accept their prayers, to just go along with it, that would be a huge violation. He says, if they saw him as a more advanced brother, okay, maybe. But playing God, no way. That's a line you just don't cross. And to really hammer the point home, Ami shares this absolutely beautiful metaphor. He tells Peter that worshiping any creature in the universe, no matter how smart or powerful they are, is just like confusing the fruit with the tree. Okay, so let's break that down. The fruit, that's us, that's Ami. It's every creature in the universe. We might be part of the whole thing, but we're not the source. The tree, on the other hand, that's the source of everything, the creator. What Ami calls the supreme intelligence. And confusing one for the other, the creation for the creator, is a massive fundamental mistake. Seeing all this, watching this whole situation unfold, just pushes a button for Peter. And it makes him ask the question, the one we've all asked, a question about suffering and fairness and, the nature of God. Peter just looks at the state of the world, all the bad things Ami says are happening right at that very moment, and he just asks, so honestly, how can God let all this happen? You can just hear the pain in his voice. If there's a loving God out there, why is there so much suffering? And Ami's answer just flips the whole perspective on its head. He says the supreme intelligence, this source of everything, it doesn't work by controlling things. It works through freedom. It's this infinite force of love that gives every single being the right to make their own choices. And this leads to the most important rule in the entire universe. That freedom, it's real, but it comes with consequences. Ami puts it in a way that's impossible to forget. Everybody harvests what they sow. This law is everywhere. It applies to everyone. You are totally free to choose what you do, but whatever you choose, you have to live with the results. Ami says the choices we make, whether they're good or bad, beautiful or ugly, are just a reflection of where we are in our own evolution. And here's the kicker, this doesn't just apply to you or me, it applies to entire worlds. A planet is what its people choose to make it. So, what's the big picture here? What does this all mean? Well, it paints a picture of a universe that is just radically different from one run by some puppet master god who pulls all the string. See, in this view, the universe isn't just some random, cruel place. It's actually a perfect system. It's perfectly balanced on two giant pillars, absolute freedom and unavoidable consequence. It gives us this incredible gift of choice, but it also has this built-in, totally impartial system of accountability. And this is the ultimate takeaway. If we're the ones doing this sowing, then we're also the ones who have to do the harvesting. We can't just sit around and wait for benevolent aliens or some divine being to come down and fix our problems for us. That responsibility, it's ours. It's on us. Our world is literally a mirror of our collective choices. So that leaves us with one last really personal question. If the whole universe runs on choice and consequence, it brings that giant cosmic law right down to you and me, right now. What we do matters. What we choose matters. So the